What's up with it, y'all? Polo Sports Talk and Entertainment here again with another one. Be sure to hit the like button as well as the sub, and also hit the notifications too as well, so that you're able to get each and every one of my videos. Now, you probably noticed that the times were kind of conflicted in terms of the 6:25 and 6:35 p.m. That was because I wanted to tackle this situation a little bit more first, okay? Now, they went out on a limb and pushed this narrative about what's been going on with the Browns right now. And of course, the big elephant in the room. Actually, there's two big elephants in the room. One of the elephants is Baker Mayfield's play, in which he has not been performing that well this season. And then also the other elephant in the room is Odell Beckham's uh, lack of usage in the offense and lack of production as well. Let me say this before I pretty much dissect everything and put everything in its proper perspective. I I like Odell Beckham and his talent. Okay, now do I agree with some of the things that he's done uh, off the field and some of the things that he's done, on the field? No, I don't. He hasn't been as controversial as some of the other wide receivers, but at the same token, if you look at it from a standpoint of him thinking that the world owes him something, uh, then that's what I'm talking about right there. Like thinking that everybody owes him something, when really, even though you have 5 seasons in which you have well over 1,000 yards, and of course the couple seasons that he didn't had to do with injuries, of course. Other than that, over the course of the past a couple seasons, you really haven't been as productive. Now, me saying that, it doesn't help the situation when you have Baker Mayfield. And before I say this too, I like Baker Mayfield, and I've been riding with Baker Mayfield. There's some people that know that on here that I absolutely want Baker Mayfield to succeed too. But at the same token, Baker Mayfield has made quite a few errors. Uh, Not only, I would say, not last season, because he did pretty good despite what some people may want to say. They still say he still needs to throw the long ball. They say that he's still just considered a game manager, which I have my own feelings on that. And they still say that it was a defense that really propelled him and made him look good, which really that wasn't the case. They beat the top team in the Steelers twice, and they were 12-4, and they led their division. Last time I checked, you were supposed to win ball games, and he certainly was a better quarterback than than guys like Joe Flacco. In the when it came to the Ravens, back in the gap, when they were just primarily defense and very little offense. So I'm not going to go down that road. But here's the thing: he hasn't made it much better for Odell Beckham, not this season, and I think that that's not. I can't put that all on Baker Mayfield. I can't put that all on Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is not trying to sabotage Odell's career. Odell has suffered. He's been injury prone. He's right in the category with the Saquon Barkley. Okay, it's not taking anything away from his talent, but he's damaged goods right now at this point in time. He's not the same now. Does he have the potential to possibly be resilient and probably get back to that level that he was playing when he was in the beginning of his tenure when he took the lead by storm with the Giants? Possibly so. But for us to sit up here and say that, oh yeah, he's sabotaging his career and he's doing this and Baker's doing that. Look, I know Baker hasn't uh, hasn't performed well. We know that. You know, it'd be silly up here to think not. You know, um, many people many people have wondered. Many people have wondered if Odell Beckham is the biggest. I mean, Baker Mayfield is the biggest reason for him not being successful. You know, and that's really not the case. He used Jarvis Landry, without any problems, right? But he targeted it in week 3. He targeted it uh, Baker Mayfield for nine times, and he caught 5 catches for 77 yards. You know, and then in week 4, he had 7 targets and had two catches for 27 yards. Now, I understand that they're going to talk about Baker Mayfield missing Odell for 2 touchdowns versus the Vikings, and in which they could have been 2 easy touchdowns. Now, in week 5, he targeted him three times, and he had 2 catches for 20 yards. You know, um, listen, we're not sitting up here saying that Beckham is not a superstar that can't get 1,000 yards or can't make dynamic catches or anything. But in this offense, he doesn't quite fit, you know. And I think the person that's really going to be hurt by this trade is not Baker Mayfield. It wouldn't even be the defense either. It would be Jarvis Landry because we all know the relationship between them, and then also that was his running mate in his old stomping ground with LSU. Uh, Look, I'm like this. If you're not happy, all he's gonna do is it's gonna cause controversy because the Browns are coming off of a of what I've thought was a great season last season. especially what I just mentioned about them beating the Steelers twice. I mean, yeah, beating the Steelers twice and one in the wild card. Now they have him either going to Kansas City, Green Bay, or Tampa Bay. Neither one of those three, I don't think, would be a good fit for him. And I've already said this. Well, on one of them, I'm kind of like iffy about, but two of them, I'm like it could possibly work. With Green Bay, let me just get this out of the way. I don't think that that would be a good situation for the simple fact that Aaron Rodgers has he's never smiled more than what he smiled this year since that second MVP, if I'm not mistaken. Then on top of that, him going there, and then you already got Adams, who's blossoming right now and doing pretty good, well on his pace to 1,000-yard season. And then he got they're clicking right now. You don't want to throw anybody in there that could possibly throw things off. Then on top of that, you got Kansas City. They haven't been performing well. Now they might be able to get regroup and get back to what they were doing. But I seriously doubt it, even though they're playing the Washington football team, but they're 2-3 too. And they've been going through some turmoil and going through some trials and tribulation themselves. And then of course, when it comes to Tampa Bay, look, my squad, would I like to have Odell Beckham there? Possibly, but we're known to be taking it would be like the second chance type of organization. That's what we're becoming to be known because we got a lot of guys in which people quote unquote call them the expendables, and we got guys on there in which the league had gave up on them, or their teams they gave up on them, or they had issues in the past in terms of checker pass or whatnot, whether it was on the field or off the field. For instance, you got Jason Pierre-Paul uh, ended up losing his finger or whatever, and then next thing you know, the Giants were ready to go ahead and get rid of him. All right, they kind of gave up on him. And then on top of that, you got Tom Brady, of course, in which Bill Belichick could have did more to try to keep him there and stick his neck out for him, but the organization uh, was ready to move on in so many ways. They gave up on Brady and everything, and then guess what he did? He went over there and was able to show that he was he didn't really need Belichick. Then on top of that, you had Indonovan Sue, who uh, he was pretty much about to be out of the league because not because of his play, but because of his attitude and the controversy that he would often bring in terms of his dirtiness and stuff like that, in which I think is pretty much bullshit because you have to have a nasty in you to play football, but unfortunately he was doing some things that the league didn't particularly agree with. Then, of course, the obvious, in which you have AB, in which he had trouble with the Raiders organization. Really, not the Raiders organization. It was really with John Gruden, and we all know where that ended up. And it turns out that AB wasn't the bad guy after all, at least not in that situation. Now, AB did not help the situation with doing some of the other stuff that he did, but nevertheless, he was still considered a checker pass on and off the field or whatnot. But he came over there, and guess what? He was successful. Now that leads me to the next point, in which, and then you also, of course, they just got Rich. We just got Richard Sherman too, who never had any issues off the field up until this summer and everything. And he got a second chance too, and a lot of people felt like it's over for him. Now we got to see what happens because he did just go out with the hamstring or whatnot. So we'll see what takes place or whatever. We'll see what's happened. That's been our Achilles heel this season, which has been our secondary. And on top of that, we got a couple injured players, and one of the main ones with Grant. Then you got Odell Beckham. They bring him over there. Odell Beckham, yes, he's had 1,000-yard seasons, but has he been successful in those 1,000-yard seasons? No, he hasn't. New York hasn't went anywhere, and Cleveland went places without him. They just started going places without him because they finished off what I thought was a phenomenal season from them. You could call Baker Mayfield a game manager all you want to. Listen, I'll take a game manager any day. Manage that motherfucker well is what I tell people. They wanted to come in and they wanted to come with that stigma about Dak Prescott being a game manager. Look what he has evolved into, and we know damn well that Dak is clearly a superstar caliber quarterback. Baker Mayfield does have potential, and he will get better. He's already trying to force the issue and take risk because he's listening to the rumblings of people. I'm like, Baker, just do what you do. People want you to throw the long ball and they want you to. No, you don't need to. What you need to do is just do what's been working. But, also it didn't help either, him opening up his mouth and saying he should be the highest paid quarterback and everything. Sometimes you just got to learn to shut the fuck up. Okay. And I'm just being honest with you. Now, you said Baker, ODB never got to play full 16 games together. Well, Landry did. Landry did. Landry, not a full, but Landry didn't start missing games. DOB up until this season, and that's a fact. Now if you're talking about all three of them, yeah, you're right. But Landry has been the most. Landry has been more consistent than ODB. He's been more consistent in terms of showing up and lunch pail mentality. I'll take Jarvis Landry any day over Baker Mayfield. Yes, I know his team hasn't been successful, but Jarvis Landry is a hard worker, an extremely hard worker. And people go nuts when I say that. People go nuts when I say that. He was just as successful at LSU as what you call Odell Beckham. Listen, in 2014, he only had 3 seasons in which he was under 1,000 yards out of the out of the out of the 8 that he's played. He was good for a 1,000-yard season. His first two seasons with his 2 out of the 4 seasons that he was with the Dolphins or whatnot. In 2017, he was. I consider 987 and 976 right there. He's right there at 1,000. You got to think about how much he's being used, and also the quarterback situation as well. 2019, well over 1,000 yards. Then in 2020, well over 1,000. In 2020 he had 840, but he's still been productive, and he still had 3 touchdowns in that season. So I think his best year was the one in which he didn't have 1,000 yards in one of those seasons, and that was in 2017 when he had nine touchdowns, and that was with the Dolphins. You know, we're not talking about some guy that's not producing. You know, but anyways, I just wanted to give my take on that. Like I said, I don't feel that Baker Mayfield is sabotaging ODB. It's just going to come down to a question of ODB's health and his attrition and taking care of his body in the future. You know, and it's the same thing that I've said with Saquon Barkley. I love those are high level talented guys. Him and Odell. Listen, and I don't even like Odell like that, but I'd be silly up here to say that he's not a talented receiver. But you can have all of the talent in the world, all of the know-how, all of the charisma, all of the drip or swag, so to speak. But if you don't have hard work, and more importantly, if you don't have the smarts and the intelligence to take care of your body in the off season, you're not going to progress in any league. Polo Sports Talking ENT, thank y'all for pulling up and listening. Like this video, share it, subscribe, and also hit the notifications too. Until then, man, I'll get at y'all later.